You're watching HCAM TV.
Good evening and welcome to the Gathering in Quarantine. I'm Terry Malisi, and with me is Mike Tarosian. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Terry, how we doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and I'm so excited about tonight's dinner.
Oh my goodness, me too. I want to say hi to all of our viewers, and I just want to say I hope you're all doing well during this time. And if Mike's backdrop can give you any kind of hint on tonight's dinner,
Yep,
it
here
is a nod to Shakespeare's A Midsummer's Night's Dream. And this is a Midsummer Night's Dinner. And what we have on the menu is a 3-lettuce salad, sautéed spicy chicken, which we'll be serving with Pommes de Terre Boulangeres, which is really potatoes of earth cooked with sliced onions in a casserole and an upside down pineapple cake, because who doesn't like cake? And every once in a while we need cake, right?
Absolutely.
And they had cake back then, so we're having cake.
Cake is one of my favorite food groups.
There you go. So we're going to start with the potato dish because it has to bake 30, 35 minutes, as well as the cake. So we're going to start with this first. What I have here is 4 large white potatoes sliced. And because I made them last night, they've been soaking in water. And if you put them in water, they won't turn brown. You add a little bit of vinegar in there, it will even last longer, not turning brown, and give it a little zing too. So we have 1 medium onion, thinly sliced. We have pads of butter and 1 cup of hot chicken stock. Now, what we're going to do, I did spray my pan beforehand. We're going to layer the first layer with potatoes. And these were big, so you can see nice big pieces.
Sure.
Right. So they're filling up this pan quite nicely. And I don't know if you can see that. There you go.
Yep.
Now we're going to put some onions over that. Now you think back then, right? What did they have? They didn't have a whole lot to cook with, like what you find in the supermarkets today. So this would have fit right back in there. And you want to continue with the layers in that order. You can see how nice these potatoes are, and they really held their color. And these are, I want to say, golden Yukon. So you'll see they do have a little golden color on it. I'm going to put some more onions in here. For tonight's menu, we have a lot of flavors going on. So
about those potatoes. So if I was to cut them now to make it, would I have to soak them first still, or?
Well, if you were cutting them and then just putting them right in the oven, no.
Okay.
But if you need to prep them ahead of time, even if it's during the day, you do want to soak them. Okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to finish up the onions, and we're going to finish the layer with potatoes. Okay, so we're going to do that. And I want to get rid of this. What is it, little girl? What is it? I know. Mommy has a cooking show. That's my little cat, Laverne. She's talking to me. What's going on, Mommy? And here's the other one, Shirley. Laverne and Shirley.
Very classic.
Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the chicken stock and pour the chicken stock over everything. Okay. And then you're going to take the pads of butter and fleck them on the top. So when you bake it, you'll have a nice little buttery topping to it. And you just want to place it around. And here you have that. So you see that?
That's it.
Nice, right? Let me wash my hands.
Again, quick and easy.
Exactly. Another quick and easy. So that's good. So I have my oven set at 375. Like I said, this will go in for 30, 35 minutes, but you might want to let it go a little longer if you like them to be a little browner than normal, which we do. And then if you want it even browner, you can put it under the broiler and brown it that way.
Okay.
Okay?
Now, Terry, I noticed that you peeled your potatoes.
Yes.
Could you leave the skin on this dish? If you
Oh,
like
you
skin?
could if you want, absolutely.
Okay.
Skins are wonderful and very nutritious, as you know.
Yes, I know.
So that's pretty good. And what I have here are the ingredients to the pineapple upside down cake. Now I'm just going to move my ingredients over a little bit. Make sure I have everything that I need. And again, a 9-inch square pan sprayed with cooking spray. And I have pineapple rings. I have cherries. Now these cherries are from pie filling, okay? And it's just the cherries part of it. So I have that, they'll be nice and soft. I have brown sugar and melted butter. And what we're gonna do, this is gonna be the topping of the cake. And because it's upside down, we're gonna do this first. So we take the melted butter and pour that on the bottom of the pan, and you just want to give it a good swirl, and you can see it. All right, and that's going to be the top of the cake. This is going to give it a nice golden topping. You're going to take brown sugar and put that on top of the butter, and you want to spread that evenly. Okay. And you see that.
Gotcha.
And you're going to take your pineapple, and I left the pineapples in the rings. You can cut them in half, fit them any kind of way you want, make any kind of designs. But these work really well in a 9-inch pan, like so. And I even ended up with one extra.
I'll swing by and pick that one up.
Sounds good. And then you want to take your little cherries. You want to put one in the middle of each pineapple ring. But then you want to put them in between. Okay, so that,
Fill up all the spaces.
yes, so that when you flip it over, you're going to get a lot of good cherries. Okay, but you're still going to have the rings intact. As they are. And this is pretty good. You want to hit the corners because the corner of the cake is going to be a nice focal point. And you want to fill up the spaces too, so that it's nice and colorful. You want to do it around the edges, okay, because the cake batter is going to fill up the rest of the pan. So this will be a nice frame. Nice work of art here. This is good. I like this. Oh, and a couple more over here. I'm going to squeeze them in. This is pretty good. And I'm using pretty much all of them. So this worked out really well. And you'll see what that looks like.
Wow.
Okay. I want to put these aside and wash my hands again. Okay. Now, I made sure this cake cooks at 375 as well because it's cooking together with the potatoes, with the Pommes de Terre, Boulangeres. I don't speak French or whatever that is.
So, of course, if you had a big fancy kitchen, you would have maybe those double stacked ovens. You know, you can
That's right.
you can have a dessert going at a different temperature.
That's right. That's right. I could, right? So what I have here for the batter, I have 2 large eggs beaten, 8 tablespoons of butter, 3/4 cup of flour, a 1/4 cup of ground almonds. Now, I bought whole almonds and ground them myself in the food processor. So that was pretty cool.
There you go.
And I have 2 tablespoons of milk. Once I get everything incorporated, if I need it a little creamier, I'll add this.
Yep.
And I have a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla and a touch of almond extract. So besides the sweetness of the cherries and the pineapple, we're going to have the almond flavor going on in the cake, which is really nice. So we're going to start by creaming the butter with the sugar. Okay. There we go. I'm going to cream that, get that nice and creamy and all incorporated. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to gradually add the eggs. And it starts to really resemble cake batter. And we're going to mix this up. Turn it up a bit to get that going. Beautiful. And then I'm going to add the vanilla and the almond extract. Now, obviously, I could have my KitchenAid over here and be doing that in here, but then you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing, right?
Right, exactly. This is a lot more fun. And not everybody has a kit. And not everyone has a KitchenAid either, right?
It's beautiful. And now I'm going to take the almonds and I'm going to mix them in with the flour. And I'm going to just give it a good little swirl here. Okay. Again, you think, what did they have back then, right? They had flour, they had nuts, eggs, all that good stuff. But again, not like everything we have today. So there you go. And I'm going to incorporate this. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in. Actually, I'll give it just a little slow beat. And see, it does get a little thick. So this is where you want to take the milk and add that to it. And just make it a little creamier. Okay. I want to get that off.
Because what you want to do, you want to be able to pour this in like a real batter, not like dough.
Right, exactly. I'm going to put this aside. See, I'm learning. I have the little plate now to catch the dripping. As you know, I'm not a big baker. I don't bake a lot, right?
Yeah, it all definitely makes the cleanup process easier.
It does. Get these out of the way. And then what you want to do is you want to gently put the batter over the pineapple and cherries. And you just kind of want to place it.
Yeah, and that's a little difficult of a chore because you don't want to move any of those cherries around.
That's right. That's right. So you want to just spread it around nice and evenly because it does have to bake and rise somewhat. And this is actually working out really nice. So I'm pleased about that. So you like cake, huh, Mike?
Oh, love cake. Like I said, it's its own food group to me.
It is. Yes, I'm liking it more the older I'm getting. And it's so funny, I feel like I'm reverting back to childhood, The older you get, I think that happens.
Well, yeah, plus you're also allowed to have cake as breakfast as an adult. You couldn't do it when you were a kid.
That's right. When you're an adult, you can do whatever you want, right?
Right.
Within reason. Okay. Now, I just want to make sure I get as much of this batter off the bowl and finish this corner up. Oh, this will be interesting. Let's see how this comes out. There we go. Okay. And I have to say, whatever happens, right?
Yep, we'll find out.
It's the gathering, right? So anything goes.
Anything is possible. So you said that's going to take 35 minutes?
Yes, 35 minutes, and we'll keep a watch on it.
So we'll be able to hopefully see that because it's 7:20. Yeah, so that'll work out. Get that sucker in there.
Okay.
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna put this. Now there's 28 minutes left on the stove for the potatoes, so we'll just keep a watch.
Yep.
We'll let it go.
We got that.
So then it will be on to our next dish, which is the spicy sauteed chicken.
Yummy.
Sauteed spicy chicken. And this is really beautiful because this has been marinating overnight. Now you can marinate it for an hour, but obviously the longer you marinate it, the better it is.
Sure.
So for this, I have 2 chicken breasts and they're sliced like cutlet style.
Okay.
And they've been marinating in 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of honey, a half a teaspoon of ground coriander, a half a teaspoon of paprika, and 2 garlic cloves chopped. So you see it's got that wonderful orange color from the
Sure
paprika.
do. Yep.
It'll have the spiciness, the sweetness of the honey, the citrusy from the lemon. So that'll be wonderful.
Sure.
And we're going to saute that. And then we're going to remove the chicken and saute mushrooms, yellow pepper, red pepper, and artichokes. And they are marinated in the oil. Excuse me. So when you buy them in the jar, you want to keep them in the oil because that will add to the whole dish. So I'm going to heat up some oil. Get that going. And it smells really nice. Bring this over here. Smelling good. So, Mike, have you been to England?
So I never been to England. That is one of the places on my list of places to go. I am along with Italy, Greece, Armenia, and England and Ireland. Those are the spots I want to go. That's Europe. I'd love to head down to someday New Zealand.
Yes.
I had a roommate a long time ago. Who's from New Zealand, and it seems like quite the place to be.
Those are all wonderful places. I've been to a lot of them, including Shakespeare's Birthplace.
Yeah, so tell me about that trip. What was that trip all about?
Okay, that was just a trip to England. And because I love Shakespeare,
Yep.
I went to Shakespeare's Birthplace. And that is in Stratford on Avon, upon Avon. And that's the name of it, Stratford upon Avon. And it's funny because his house, you would think would be a big house, high ceilings, really not. Very low ceilings.
Sure.
Small place. And we stayed in a hotel a couple of streets down at the White Swan Hotel, which was beautiful. You know how those old hubby places are.
Sure.
And that weekend I learned about cricket. Now, you know cricket.
I know cricket.
You know cricket, and they have the wickets. And if anybody remembers in Hopkinton, 70s and 80s, we had the sticky wicket right down the street.
Yep.
Owned by Foster Yaden, the Yadens. And they were from England.
Yep.
And so they named the place that. And the New Black Eagle Jazz Band used to play there all the time.
That was the big site for that location, was the band. Because they had a great jazz venue there all the time, but the Black Eagle Jazz Band was the band to go see if you want to go out on any kind of a date or an evening out, that's the band you went to go see, and
Absolutely.
they
Dinner
played there
out,
for years.
they had great food.
The food was phenomenal. My favorite dish there was the London broil.
Yeah.
They made the best London broil.
Yep. I'm going to take the rest of the marinade, pour it in the pan. And I'm going to cook these, let that go a few minutes.
Yep.
I'll flip them, let that go a few minutes more, and then I'll add the vegetables and get that going.
So, did you ever try playing cricket when you were over there?
No. You know, what really got me about cricket was the one match that I was learning about it went on all weekend. Now you can have like 2 innings, I think it's 2 innings, but in those innings, you could have up to 50 overs.
Yeah.
And an over is a play. And so it can usually go on for 2 days, literally, and the score can get up into the hundreds. And what really, really got me was, you know, baseball's kind of a takeoff on cricket.
Very
when
much.
think
You could
about
say
it.
that, yeah.
Okay, and then we have the 9 innings, and then we have, you know, the 3 outs, and it's a lot like that. But
Right.
what got me was on the Saturday of the match, the player got hurt, and the announcer said, "Oh, he's off to hospital, but he'll be back."
Yeah. Yeah, they
He
do.
was back
I mean,
the next day playing.
They are tough. They catch without gloves. It's all
Yep.
barehanded.
Paddles.
Yeah, and if you ever want to see a cricket match locally, I tell everybody just go to the Warren Center in Ashland, the Fairhaven University facility over there. They have a cricket field, and they play cricket on the weekends.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
my roommate used to get, his father used to send him highlight DVDs of cricket matches, all the playoffs, all the big events. And that was the only real way for me to really watch it, because all it was the highlight reel. It was all the action and whatever. And I really got into it. I thought it was fabulous. But man, it is so long. I mean, one of those games lasted a day and a half,
Yes.
because that's how long it went. But we saw the highlights, which was, I think, 15 minutes.
Yep. These are coming out nicely.
Yeah, that's the only sad part about your show, is that we can't smell it.
Sorry.
The only sad part about this show is we can't smell it.
Oh, it's beautiful. Between the potatoes, the pomme de terre,
Yeah.
Boulangeres, and the cake too. I have to put the light on. Now the plan is, when the cake is done, I'm going to take it out, and with a knife, I'll loosen the edges, and I want to turn it out on this thing, this baby.
It's gonna be
We'll see.
well, it's gonna be tough too, because it's gonna be warm when you do it. So it should be a little tougher.
It's doable.
Yeah.
It's not like it has to sit there for, 20 minutes to cool
Right.
down.
Right. I think if anyone can do it and pull this off, it's gonna be you, Terry.
Oh, you give me a lot of credit, Mike.
That's right. So now you're gonna take, when those are out, you're gonna actually take those out and then cook the vegetables in the same broth.
Yes, and then once those are sauteed and nice and soft, I'm going to put the chicken back in the pan and let that simmer for like 20 minutes.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. So normally, right about now, if it wasn't for this whole COVID thing, we'd be out at the Center for the Arts or Tin Can watching a Midsummer's Night Dream being performed somewhere because
Oh, yes.
they play it everywhere, and it'd be nice. And that's one of my favorite Shakespeare plays.
Yeah, yeah. And when you think about it, right? We're in midsummer.
We're here.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the middle point, which, of course, as everyone knows, you do plan all these things accordingly. They all line up
Well,
for a reason.
what you hear a lot about Shakespeare, it's like, oh, I don't understand it. Who can understand it? Who can get that language? What's it all about? If you want to learn about Shakespeare, buy a movie called Looking for Richard. And it's produced, directed, and he stars in it, Al Pacino.
Yep.
And it's half documentary and half play about King Richard III.
Yep.
And Winona Ryder's in it, and a lot of other stars that you will recognize. Alec Baldwin happens to be in it. He plays King Richard's brother who gets executed. But the interesting thing is, one of Monty Python's players too is in there explaining Shakespeare. They explain what the language is all about, what the plays are about, and you really come away from it really understanding more about Shakespeare.
Sure.
And when they get into acting out King Richard III, it was filmed in the cloisters in New York, and it looks like you're back in London,
Sure.
back in the day. And they use part of that as the tower. Now, I've been to the Tower of London. I've been to London a couple of times. And I mean, that Buckingham Palace, just all of the good stuff.
So talk about your cast. You're talking Al Pacino, Penelope Allen, Harris Yulin, Kevin Spacey.
Yes, that's right. That's
Winona
right.
Ryder.
Yep.
Alec Baldwin, Aidan Quinn.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Absolutely fabulous. And Al Pacino's talking to the audience and educating you on Shakespeare. And then it goes back and forth, from documentary to the play. It's really done well. And you know that saying, my horse, my kingdom for my horse.
Yeah.
Because when he's in the battlefield and he's about to get slaughtered, he'd give his kingdom for a horse so he can escape.
Right.
And he can't escape.
That's outstanding.
Tell Damage, what a loss.
Well, I'm definitely going to go.
In the sauce.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go put that on my list because I did not know about that movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, so I am pulling these out. They're nice and brown. You can see. And then I'm going to take all of these lovely vegetables and add these to the pan. And this will get nice and sauteed itself. Let this go for a little bit. And then you want to scrape up the bits from the pan, from the chicken, and the olive oil and the marinade from both the chicken and the artichoke parts.
Yes.
So I'm going to let this go. We're moving right along, right?
Oh, yeah, moving right along. 7:35. Perfect.
Yep. I'm going to let that go. Let the heat a bit.
So now, what tenderness or texture do you cook the vegetables to?
Soft.
Soft. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's what I was assuming when you said you were going to add the chicken and let it simmer some more. I just assumed.
Yeah. So once those get soft, we're going to put the chicken back in on top of the vegetables and turn it down to simmer and let that simmer.
Excellent.
And because we have so many different flavors going on, right? Between the chicken and the potatoes and the cake, I kept the salad pretty simple. And again, you think back then, right?
Oh yeah, you did. This is one of the most simplest salads that I've seen you make. Yeah.
Definitely. So this is radicchio. Now this can be tart, a tart flavor, okay? And then I have greens here. Chicory, red lettuce, Boston lettuce. This is a combination, okay? And you can get greens sold that way, or you can buy the heads themselves.
Gotcha.
I got the mixture. And you just want to tear the radicchio into bite-sized pieces. And isn't it beautiful?
It is. I love the color.
Beautiful color. And then the dressing is just 3/4 cup of olive oil, 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar, and a teaspoon of sugar. That's it.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
All right. Well, see, it went so fast, I didn't even have time to share it, so I'm going to share it right now.
So there you go. And basically, it's whatever greens you like, because you can use the red lettuce, the green lettuce,
Right.
Boston lettuce. I love chicory because, again, it's that tart taste. I love it. So there we go. Good thing my hands are clean, right? Clean hands. Then we're going to mix in the green lettuce and the red lettuce and the chicory. Now that's a pretty salad. Yes, see that? There we go. Give these a stir. And these are getting soft. It smells wonderful. And you'll note sauteed chicken doesn't have onions in it because we have enough onions in the potatoes, right?
Sure, sure.
Oh, but the smells. Smells are really nice. You're right about that. Missing out on that. Okay. There's the oil, the vinegar. Oh. And the sugar. I'm going to take a peek in the stove. Oh my. Oh my. That cake is coming along. I guess a better baker than what I ever thought I could be. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And doing the gathering in quarantine, It's like I'm making a dessert once a week. Because normally I don't make dessert.
Sure.
Well, there you go.
I,
This
I
is
bet.
nice.
I bet everyone at work's like the desserts when they come in, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna put this in here. So that's good. So look, right?
So yeah, right now here it is. It's 7:40,
Yep.
and the only thing that you had prepped was you had the potatoes peeled and cut, and you had the peppers cut.
And the chicken marinating.
Yeah, so that's not
And
bad.
the chicken marinating was nothing, really. You know, but you do want to marinate it. The longer, the better for it to seep into the chicken.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, now, these are pretty good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn down the heat to simmer, and I'll add the chicken on top, and I'll just let that go. And again, I'm going to put the liquid from the marinade. I just have to show you how pretty this is.
Oh
Not
yeah,
gorgeous?
that is outstanding.
Now you could literally take the pan to the table,
Yeah, exactly right.
kind of like a paella type thing, which is again one of my favorite all-time dishes.
Right.
But we're not talking Spain tonight.
Yes.
We're on England.
We're in England.
So
Hey,
back to England.
I got a couple Shakespeare fun facts for you.
Okay.
During his lifetime, William Shakespeare wrote about 37 plays and around 150 poems. They think
Sonnets.
yeah, and they think that he actually wrote more and was probably lost over time.
That's right.
And his father, his father John, was a well-known glove maker and leather worker, and he married who was Shakespeare's wife. Do you remember the name?
Oh, tip of my tongue. Nope.
Mary Arden.
Oh, there
Mary
you go.
Arden, and she was an heiress from a very wealthy family. So that's why Shakespeare's house was not as impressive as you thought, because he was a son of a glove maker.
Yep. There you go. But still, it was a nice house.
Oh, I
Consider
bet.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Oh, they got tons of stuff. So,
Kind of like in the vein of the Seven Gables in Salem.
yeah.
You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, what's that going off here? I got noise everywhere.
Yeah.
So, coming 1585, because he was born in, well, they don't know when he was born. They just know he was baptized in 64.
Right.
But 85, a mysterious way of Shakespeare disappeared from records for around 7 years. Historians often referred to this part as his lost years. So if you ever hear the lost years, it was 7 years that, I don't know, he probably went on some kind of sabbatical.
And you know, I have to share, Mike, I'm a writer myself. I don't know how many people or viewers know this about me,
Yeah.
but I've written 2 children's books, 2 novels, 2 screenplays. I'm picking up something. I'm doing 2s, right? I have to stop breaking those. So I guess that's part of the affinity that I have with Shakespeare, because my first experience with Shakespeare was when I was in the 9th grade in Holliston, our English class. We took a field trip to Connecticut to a theater, and I'd have to think hard about where it was, but we saw the movie Romeo and Juliet with Leonard Whiting and Olivia de Hussey. And what a movie that
Yeah.
was. Not just that struck me.
I've always loved Romeo and Juliet and Othello, and being a theater geek myself back in high school, back in the early 80s,
Uh-huh.
we dove into Othello. We actually did that play, and it was a lot of fun. And even though Shakespeare was hard for me, it was very, very hard to
And
understand.
again, if you get looking for Richard,
Yeah.
you know, it's an easy way to.
Well, I already put it on my what to watch list
Absolutely.
while we're here talking.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to go to his website to purchase it. I'm not sure if it's on, if you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah.
I know I
You
tried,
get everything on Amazon. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. but I don't think that is on there.
I'll look for it. So
Yeah.
another fun fact, which I think this is really cool, just to give you the idea of how people did things back then. William was part of a theater company called Lord Chamberlain's Men, who regularly performed at a place called the Theater.
Yep.
But after a dispute with the landlord, they took the building apart, rebuilt it across the river, and renamed it the Globe.
Yep.
That's cool. Hey, listen, landlord, we have a dispute, and they take everything apart and move it.
Yeah, because artists have to perform.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You know, you're gonna find a place to make it happen.
Right.
Because it has to happen. And here's the thing about the writers. It starts with the writers because if it's on the stage, it starts on a page. You would not have movies, TV shows, plays without writers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So it all starts with the writers.
That's right. And it's not just the screenwriters or the playwrights. It is your poets. It's your book writers.
Absolutely.
You know, because if you don't have a book, then someone's not going to turn it into a play or turn it into a movie.
Absolutely.
Or TV show. So
now, when I started writing, I was on the debate club at St. Rose in Chelsea, 6th grade, 7th grade. But in 7th grade, we moved to Holliston.
Yep.
And I got my first typewriter. And there I am in Brentwood, no street lights, first house in the last phase. And I'm sitting there, and my first poem was called Country Life. And it's so funny how you don't forget things. And it's like, it goes something like this. Country life is for me. Once you get out there, you will see all the birds and all the trees. And it goes on and on and on.
that's amazing. Remember that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd have to think hard about the rest of it. But I wrote a lot of poetry before my first novel.
So what kind of Shakespeare did you like? Did you like his comedies, his tragedies? What
I loved
did you-
all of it.
Really?
All of it. Yeah, I have to say, because it's so moving. I mean, the comedies, they're fantastical, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of comedy, but of course, like I said, my favorite two, Romeo and Juliet and Othello, both happen to be tragedies.
Yeah.
You know, but I still enjoy them.
I am going to take the cake out.
All right.
And the potatoes, I want to take a knife and see how they're coming along. Very good, very good. That's good. I'm going to leave those in for a little bit. Okay. And now don't know. Here's the cake.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good. Oh my God! And guess what? Look,
It's moving.
It's moving around.
Oh, this could go better than planned.
Yeah, it could. Now the only thing is, ooh, uh, and again,
Here we go.
I'm not a baker. Woo-hoo!
That is outstanding.
Wow.
Well, that went a lot faster than I thought. That was great.
Is that beautiful? Look at that, guys. It's a cake. Let them eat cake. Although that's French.
That is French. Let's stick with the English theme.
That's right. Oh my God. How about that?
That is
And do you
perfect.
see with the cherries when you fill them in?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it gives that whole nice glazy, even top to it. Very good.
we'll have that almond flavor, so that's good. We got this going. We've got what, about 7 minutes, 8 minutes?
We got about 8 minutes left.
Okay, now the potatoes are still in the oven. I'm going to let them stay in there. I'm going to move the chicken onto my serving plate over here. And this is beautiful. This came out really nice. And again, to plate this, you just want to put the vegetables on the bottom.
Yeah.
And the chicken on top.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So as you pull that out, I got another fun fact for you, which I knew this.
Oh, go for it.
And it's not just Shakespeare, but it was all plays. But plays during Shakespeare times were quite different than today. There were no female actors in plays back then.
That's right.
All the women's parts were played by men.
That's right.
And audience could be very rowdy, and they would shout boo and even throw food at actors, which, you know, the old saying about the tomatoes, you know,
That's right.
it was that was really the case, that which always was crazy back then, because you would think that the food was scarce, but if you thought about it, if you could afford to go out to the theater, you could afford to take your rotted vegetables and throw them at your actors.
That's right. And speaking of another movie, Shakespeare in Love.
Oh yes,
In that movie,
yes.
Gwyneth Paltrow plays
Please,
someone
Julia.
who
Yeah.
is into acting and writing, and she portrays a male so that she can go on the stage. And then, of course, she's betrothed to someone else, but as she leaves,
Right.
she's actually his muse and inspires him to write The 12th Night, which is about a shipwreck. And, you know, it's so funny because writers will grab certain things from real life, their lives, or what they know to write. So that's not, you know, so surprising. We'll put this here.
When you went out there, did you visit his grave site over at the Holy Trinity Church?
No, I did not.
It's so I'm reading about his gravestone, and what the famous wordsmith wrote a curse for his gravestone.
Share
Good.
that with us.
Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones. He wrote his own. That I love it.
Got to, right? Here are the potatoes. Pommes de terre.
I just love seeing
Boulangere.
the steam running off them.
I know, isn't it beautiful? Here's the chicken, spicy sauteed chicken. Got the upside down pineapple. We're going to open up some Sauvignon Blanc.
And so again, we are going with the white tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we get to toast H-cam. It's a nice Sauvignon Blanc.
So now again, this is the type of salad, like most salads, you add the dressing to the entire salad, and it basically just coats. It doesn't, you know, sit in a bowl. You coat the whole salad, and then you serve it like that. That's the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
That's the best way.
Absolutely. So here is your midsummer night's dinner.
And again, all under an hour.
All under an hour.
Which is the perfect
I'm gonna
timing.
Toast H-cam so I can take a sip. Woo!
Hey, my little drink. As a matter of fact, it's coconut pineapple
Sounds good.
flavored water.
Sounds good. That would have gone good with the Hawaiian show we did.
Right. So right about here, if I'm not mistaken, looking at the amount of food here, you look like you have, at least a half dozen plates there. That's fantastic.
And do you see how quick that was? You
Yeah.
see how it all came together?
I'm just loving the idea because in this time, I myself, being single, do not cook for one person. You can't. Unless you open up a can and put it in the microwave. So what
But
I
you
do,
know, Mike, you could, and you could eat it for 2 nights.
well, that's what I'm saying. So you just can't cook the one meal. So something like this I could do. I could have the meal, and then I could make dishes to take with me, have lunch one day here, have dinner another. Yeah.
That's right. Don't ever, if you live alone, don't ever deprive yourself of cooking a wonderful meal.
Right.
Because again, it's all about the love. And don't you love yourself?
Yeah, I tell you, when I make a sauce, it lasts almost a month because when I make a sauce, it's fantastic, and it's artwork to me because I don't measure. I eyeball everything and I change it up. I change the meats I put in it. I change some of the vegetables I'll add. Some I won't add any vegetable. Instead of adding onions, I'll add the onion powder. Instead of adding real garlic, I'll add the garlic salt or something like that.
Exactly.
I mix it up, and that's in chili, and I can't wait for September to come because it's going to be chili season, and I've yet to make 2 chilies the same.
And
I
isn't
always
it
mix it up.
funny how every season brings with it the cuisine?
Right. Myself, I'm a soup person. I can eat soup all year round. It's trying to find somebody that has soup all year round without getting it out of the can or making the package yourself or whatever. I love to have a nice soup with lunch.
Now, speaking of soups, and you work, do you have a crock pot?
That's what I use. Yeah.
The best.
The best.
The best. You put it all together before you go to work. You come home. Your house smells like you've been home cooking all day.
Right.
And it's the absolute best. But now with your dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a different story. You're going to have to put that somewhere where the dog
She does very well. She does not.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she will not she'll see me eating by myself, and I try to eat the same time she does, but she'll finish up first, obviously. Yeah. But she'll just come over and look, and she won't come and sit next to me or put her face on my knee. She will wait until I call her to do so. So I'm very lucky. Yeah. So, Terry, fantastic job. We're going to wrap up, say goodnight, and we'll see you next week, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Take care. Good night.
Everybody, take care out there. We love you. See you soon. See you out and about. Woo-hoo! Yep. Another great meal. night.